Of course, the truth is I was only 2 at the time, but the bottom line is I was around, you know.
That is true.
That is true.
And you, young man, should learn to respect his elders.
Well, you always say, Mark, age before beauty, so go ahead.
It's bad enough. It's bad enough that I'm older than you, and I'm only an intern, and I get paid coolie wages, and that you force me to put in overtime, okay, without pay, all right? I mean, the National Labor Relations Board is going to hear about this. I just want you to know that. It's going to bring you up on charges.
I'm going to send Donald Trump to visit you. You heard that you don't like him, and you know how he feels about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he won't waste time on me because I'm like Lindsey Graham. I'm not even polling 1%. I'm polling 0%, you know, so he doesn't care about me.
That Lindsey Graham badmouths every person there is. I don't understand why I don't get voted. I am so much better than all the rest of them. I am so good. I want to kill everybody. I am great. Why don't they vote for me?
Well, hey, listen, you gotta love Joe Scarborough. You know, when he had them on yesterday. You know, when he had him on Trump. You know, Trump wouldn't let them get a question in. He just kept rattling on and on. And Joe Scarborough said, "Listen, if you don't let me get, I'm gonna go to a commercial."
Who's the one that didn't? That Trump said he was like Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they told him. So the guy said, "Oh," he goes, "What do you mean? And what did Roosevelt do with the?" He said, incarcerating all the Japanese, taking away the privileges of the Germans and all that when World War II started. No, he said
that was only after the United States got dragged into the war.
What? No, he said no, not then. He goes after we got dragged into the war, and he barred all people from being. He stopped all visas, didn't let any immigrants come in.
Yeah, well, all I know is he didn't do much to save. He didn't do much to save any of the German Jews, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
And
I didn't say he did. I said he wasn't letting anybody in the country.
Yeah, but this was before we got into the war.
Nobody. I mean, let's face it. Nobody really thought that would ever happen, except for the Jews who lived there. Seriously, you think anybody really would have believed that would have happened? What happened? I have people who, young people who work now. They don't believe it ever happened. They're already at the point where they think nothing happened. That's all.
What are they becoming Holocaust doubters?
Yeah.
Well, that's.
But there's living proof.
Very sad commentary.
I don't think they teach it in school anymore. I really don't.
They don't.
No, they do. No, they do. They
not like it was like when I went to school.
No, but the thing is, down in certain states, Texas and down south, they want it taken out of the curriculum. Could you imagine? They want it taken out of the curriculum.
I think it already did, though.
I don't know. I never heard that, but I believe you.
I mean, you think about what are you gonna teach in history if you don't teach the facts?
Well, hey, listen, you're talking about Republicans. Do they ever deal in facts? Come on. They don't fact check anything. They just talk off the top of their head.
But I mean, this is where it falls in the line of the kids today not being so literate because you're not teaching them what was then and why is now, and they're only knowing what's happening now because of what you see.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to teach them this. You want to teach them and let them understand why things are happening, why things had happened the way it did. I mean, it all falls down from history.
Well,
and I don't want history to repeat itself, and it seems like it is. But it seems like it's worse now because people are taking action where the government is not.
Well,
everybody's going for an eye for an eye.
I mean, listen, right now college kids don't believe in the First Amendment.
What?
College kids do not believe in the First Amendment in the Constitution.
What do you mean they don't believe in the First Amendment?
That's what all the protests were about in all the schools, all the colleges. They didn't like what people said. That's all it is.
But you can't take it away.
But the college kids protested that people would say things that were against what they would say. And they were protesting all over the place. You're supposed to be able to say what you want to say, and you're supposed to say what you want to say. Not
Why,
today.
Didn't you hear Trump yesterday at 7 o'clock? He was talking from South Carolina. I think it was South Carolina, or I'm not sure. And he said, there was a protester. Somebody was saying something, and his supporters became like a bunch of thugs. They were trying to shut her up. It's a free country. She could say whatever she wants.
Yeah, that's what was happening in the colleges. Don't you listen to the news?
No, Felix, you don't listen to the news. Let's get something straight.
I know what you listen to. Scarborough.
So wait, are you trying to tell me that the college kids today are like not so much banding, but they're bonding like it was in the 70s, where they're just taking over for speech? I mean, it's freedom of speech and all this.
No.
That's what they want.
No, they don't want freedom of speech. The opposite.
Well, they don't.
Yes, they don't want to.
How could you possibly?
How could you take it? Take something away like that.
Go
by protesting, they are exercising their First Amendment rights.
Yeah, they're telling.
How could you say that?
Because they're telling the other people they should be quiet, not say anything, and they should go to jail. So that's saying that they don't want to hear it.
Now you're talking about the whole controversy of Black Lives Matter when they refused to allow certain people to speak.
I'm not talking about Black Lives. I'm talking about Yale and all the other schools that they had those protests. What were they about? Anybody? Oi. That's what I hear from you. Oi. You get aggravated.
I didn't say anything. This is the news according to Felix,
No, I asked you a question. What was the protest about? Colleges. There were a lot of protests, right? Was it Minneapolis? Where were those protests?
Felix, that was just after the Black Lives Matter, Felix. And they were and every college was exercising their First Amendment rights by talking about Black Lives Matter. Okay, that's what they were talking about.
And
the fact that they were protesting shows you that they were exercising their First Amendment rights. People have different opinions,
but they weren't letting anybody else give their opinions. They were trying to shut them up and not let anybody else talk except for them. That is closing up that is not giving you the right to speak. Just like you do to me and I do to you. We always infringe our rights to speak. We both.
Hey, listen, I'm just smart enough to let people know that I'm not dumb enough to back Donald Trump.
We're not talking about backing Donald Trump.
Why? Because you're not talking about it now.
I like Donald Trump. Doesn't mean I'm going to back him.
That's exactly what I said.
Now, I got a question for you. You think Donald Trump said anything that was illegal or constitutional against the Constitution about the not allowing the immigrants to the country?
Yeah, when you talk about having people register and labeling them, that's against the Constitution. This country was founded on freedom of religion.
No, what did I just ask you? Listen to what I just said. By him
Look,
telling him
Felix,
to listen to what I asked you for a question, Mark. You sound like
I don't have to. I don't have to listen. Today's Wednesday. It's not Monday and it's not Friday.
you sound like Trump right now. You don't listen. You just talk.
No, Felix.
I'm asking you a
I
simple question. I'm serious.
we can't get a word in edgewise because you're doing all the talking. So
I
I
asked
mean,
you a question. You don't want
but
to
that's
answer
your
it.
First Amendment right, Felix.
Why don't you answer my
Plus, it's
question?
your show.
Why don't you answer your question? Is it against the Constitution to stop immigrants from coming into the United States? Yes or
Yes,
no?
it says right on. It says right on the Statue of Liberty. Okay. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, etc., etc. All right? You can't put a stop to it.
Of course you can. They are not American citizens yet. You can vet them. You can do whatever you want. Fill them in the United States, and they have rights. Do you know they used to take 14 years to become a citizen in the United States for a while? Do you know right after the Civil War they stopped bringing in immigrants completely? Right after the Revolution they stopped bringing in immigrants. This is nothing new.
Well, but that's what they're talking about with the undocumented
They
people
have
that are here now.
they have
You
no
know, they
rights.
say that they want them to go through a 14 or 15-year process.
They have no rights here. What rights do they have being here? Who allowed him in? Nobody allowed them in. They didn't fill out any paperwork like my parents did. It took my parents 7 years to get into the United States. They just
Well, but
crossed the
the
border.
idea is that, you know,
And I didn't get all the
take
privileges
away
they did. They get.
take away this take away their services. You know, as far as Social Security, as social services, free medical. Okay,
Free
take it
college.
away. You know, the first place these people go to is the Social Security Administration, and they file papers and they get everything. Okay.
And they're not even citizens. They're not even green cards. They have no visas. They don't belong here. They should
Yeah,
be
but you
out.
know something? The same thing can be said for the homeless veterans that are living on the street. Okay, and nobody seems to give a damn about them.
Because all the money's being spent on the immigrants that are not supposed to be here.
I think
You
that
know
our money should
something?
be spent
You know
on
some. You know some. You know
us.
something. You know something, Felix.
Yeah.
If there wasn't any undocumented people, the veterans still wouldn't get it.
There's a
End
better
of
chance.
story. Because the government is only interested in what have you done for us lately. You're not a soldier anymore. You're not entitled to anything.
Well, that's our Democrats for you. They're in charge.
You know, that's really an asinine thing to say because it was under Republicans as well. So
I
who the
know
hell are
that.
you kidding?
Of
Right now
course.
you got a Republican Senate and a Republican Congress, and they're not doing.
They're doing the
Uh, I
same
almost,
thing.
I almost cursed,
They're
but
doing
we're on
exactly the
the
same
air.
thing as the president. Nothing. Nobody does anything. That's my whole point.
Hey,
Nobody
don't
does.
blame the president. He has nothing to do with this. Bush didn't do anything.
Neither did he. Did I say Bush did anything? He didn't do anything. None of them did anything.
Of course you didn't, because Bush is a Republican. That's why. You're only knocking the Democrats.
No, I'm knocking who I feel like knocking right now. Listen,
Felix, you think this
Republicans.
stuff is funny, and you're laughing.
I am
It's not
because
funny.
it's ridiculous. The Republicans suck. The Democrats suck.
Hey,
All right,
look,
put it on.
this show was supposed to be about happy birthday to Samantha and Matthew. Why are we talking politics, Felix? I didn't bring it up.
Well, who brought it up then?
Not me. This is your show.
Listen to the beginning of the show. Who's the first one that started getting wise? Anyway, it may have been me. I don't know. I got to listen to it too. I don't remember. Hey, listen.
Anyway,
Our
I am
show's-
going to sign off by once again saying happy birthday to Matthew and happy birthday to Samantha. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
Matthew had a good day, but I'm sure he did. And I know Samantha did because that's exactly what you said. So
Yeah, she told me also.